It's Jeff and Jay at Huah Outdoors. Little fun and games today. It's Buck Conquistador and
Captain Fallen, otherwise known as Top Gun.
all right, we're coming at you live from the Huah room, episode 2. Well, a little silliness today.
I'd like to point out that my antlers every fall come off. Sometimes it's hard to find the hole.
Yeah, you're missing it. There you go, almost. Keep going towards the camera. Yeah, towards the camera. Hey, look at him. He can't even find the hole.
It's not. This seems like a personal problem. Forget it. I'm going with one.
He's a one-rack buck. He's been in so many fights, he lost the whole side.
It's about mid-March. That's when they lose the antlers around here, right?
Can be. So,
what are we talking about today?
Hey, today we're going to talk about hunting stories. We're both 60 and 62, so we got some hunting stories we wanted to lay on you. A couple of them are pretty funny.
I'm 26 if I'm in reverse.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, you're up first, Jay. You get your antler back on. Did you? Hey, grew his antler back. All right.
Yeah, is it on right?
Yep. It's backwards, but who cares?
All right. Unusual buck story. Not going to beat around the bush here. Took my father-in-law, the first time and only time I took my father-in-law archery hunting with me. I dropped him off. Well, we both got out of the truck, and I walked him all the way to the ladder stand. He climbed up in the ladder stand, and I left him. I said, I'll come back here and get you. I went all the way down about 150 yards and climbed up in a stand. Well, it got dark, got almost dark. I didn't no deer involved and not any of that. And I climbed down to the stand, and I went to get my father-in-law. I walked all the way down there. He's not in the stand. So, well, he probably got out a little early, and he just walked back to the truck. You could almost see the truck, but it was uphill from there. I was a little concerned. I got back to the truck, and he wasn't at the truck. So I yelled, Bob!
Is this before cell phones?
Yeah, it was.
Okay. Proceed.
Yeah, so I yelled, Bob. Yeah, no cell phones involved. And I had heard, while we were in there in the stand, I'd heard something sound like it was crying, like a baby crying or something like that, way off in the distance. And I had no idea what that sound was until I found out later on what it was. Well, I went up to the truck, yelled 3 or 4 times at him, and you could hear, this quiet evening, you could hear the voice. He had to hear me. So he never answered, so I walked all the way back down there, and his bow's not there, nothing's there. So I go back to the truck, and I'm thinking I got to go back and tell my wife I lost her dad. So as I'm going by the farmhouse, there's only one farmhouse on the way there.
Buck. We can't find this.
Yeah, can't find my deer. Can't find my father-in-law. Yeah, and as I go by this farmhouse, I go by my wife's car coming this direction. I'm thinking, well, something ain't right there, you know. And I pulled in. She pulled into that farmhouse, and as she did, my father-in-law come out of the house and walked out and was talking to her. And what it ended up being is he heard that squalling and wallering too, and got a little iffy, and he was going back to the truck, and he left. But it was pretty scary for a minute. I thought maybe I'd lost my father-in-law, but because he's a good guy, he'd hunted a bunch. But I found later on it was a what do you think like a cat, maybe a bobcat.
Oh, squealing, screaming.
Could have been a poomer.
Puma.
Yeah. You got a story?
I got all kinds of stories. You want
a short one?
A short one? All right. Well, I'm going to give a little plug to Evercom, or Deer Herding a Stick. One of the first times I used Evercom, I'm sitting down at a farm, 80-acre farm, and I'm on this inside corner. Got the wind in my face, and it was kind of quartering into my face, and here comes a doe, 3/4 speed, running down the outside of the fence row, and she comes running down there, and she gets right in my wind path, and I'm thinking, oh well, this ain't gonna be good. She sticks her feet out, slides, comes to a screeching halt. Sliding, stop. Sticks her head up in the air, starts smelling, puts her head down, starts eating. Smelled what she thought was another deer upwind of her, which was me and my Evercom, Deer Herding a Stick. Pulled the old bow back, poof, shot me a doe right there. Evercom, baby. Gives you more opportunities. Another real quick one. Hunting with a buddy Dave. down at the lease we used to have down in Shelby County. Uh-oh, he's shedding again.
I can't take it. It's too tight on my head.
So we get done hunting, and we were supposed to meet at a certain spot in the woods, and we met at the spot, and this woods is real thick, and there wasn't really a trail for us to walk out on. So we're going through the woods, and I'm headed the right direction, but I'm off kilter just a little bit. No moon, cloudy, nothing, you know. So I mean, it's dark. It's one of them nights where it's black. And pretty soon, my buddy Dave, he goes, "We're going the wrong way. We need to go this way." I said, No, we don't need to go that way. He goes, "Yeah, we need to go that way." He goes, "I'm part Indian." I said, "We need to go that way." I'm like, "Dude, that's not the right way. I'm telling you, that is not the right way." He goes, "Well, I'm going that way." He goes, "You can go whichever way you want." He goes, "I'll meet you at the truck." I'm like, "Okay." So he goes that way. We should have never done that. He went this way, and he got lost. He calls me about a half hour later. I got to the edge of the woods where I could see where I was at the edge of the woods. I knew where I was at then. And I go all the way back to the truck. He ain't at the truck. He calls me. He said, "Dude," he goes, "I'm turned around. I don't know where I'm at." I said, "Well, you don't know where you're at all?" He goes, "No, I have no idea where I'm at." I'm like, "All right, I'm going to honk the horn." He goes, so I cover the phone up, you know, so he can't hear, you know, or I think he can't hear it. He goes, "Yeah, I can barely hear it, dude." He goes, "This sounds like beep, beep." So he's lost, dude. He went, long story short, he went and walked like 3/4 of a mile the wrong direction in the woods on this piece of timber finger that's like 10 miles long in this old system. I had to drive the truck down, go on the neighbor's property, get all the way back down in their property where they got this cabin, and I'm honking the horn, and he's going, "I can barely hear it, dude, but my phone's on low battery. It's gonna die."
Oh boy, oh boy.
So, long story short, hour and a half later, I think he finally he's seen my headlights finally, and he come to the truck. He goes, "I thought I was gonna have to sleep in the woods." And I'm like, "Oh man, I told you were going the wrong way, dude. That thing's warm." I don't know how them conquistadors did it back in the day. That's that's one of my dream bucks, is to shoot a Pope and Young 6-pointer. That'd be a bucket list buck for me. Get an old 6-pointer.
Did you shoot one? You think you ought to shoot one this year with your keister hat on?
With my keister. That was my conquistador hat. That'd be awesome if I could do that.
It'd confuse them if they looked
Hell
up in the tree.
I might get charged by Buck, you know. Buck might come at me. All right, what's your next one?
I got lost. I'll do a lost one too. I got lost one time hunting Allerton Park. I don't know if around here you had to draw in and you had to qualify with your compound bow and all kinds of stuff. And I went scouted a couple places, decided it's going to go up this one tree that was down next to a creek. But when I got in there, I don't know what happened. I don't know how I got off, but I walked and I thought, I got to be getting to this creek pretty quick. So I turned around and looked, and I'm down in a low-lying area, so I can't really see anything above me. So I go back the direction I had came, and when I got back out, I looked, and yeah, I could see my truck. I'd walked in a great big circle, basically. You know, so I turned around and I did my math again in my head, and I took off, and I found the tree that I was supposed to go up, I thought, and I went up this tree. And about 3/4 of the way up this tree, about 15 feet probably up, I was using a summit climber, 15 feet up, bark started coming off of this tree. It was losing its bark, and it was turning into a telephone pole.
It was a dead tree.
It was a dead tree.
Oh my goodness.
It wasn't the one I was looking for. And then I hunted in it. I thought I'm not going to do a lot of back and forth on it, you know, or whatever. I hunted in it, and it was getting light. And I turned around and I thought, what's all over the ground? It was like October, second week of October. I said, there's snow or something. What is it all over the ground? There was no snow on the ground. It was wood chips. A beaver had started to... the tree.
Not only is the tree dead, there's a beaver trying to cut it down.
The beaver had cut it. There was wood chips everywhere, and that tree that was about that big around was down to the point where it was like a post, and I'm sitting in a dead tree, waiting for the one fall into the creek where it was. And
my word.
And I got lost in the whole deal, so it was fun. It was a story, one of them things that sticks with you. That was a long time ago, too.
Oh my goodness. Well, I got another Dave story.
Yeah.
This one's really good. This is a true story. Swear on my mother's grave. Take my buddy Dave hunting, same property where I shot the doe with the Evercom story. Take him down there late season. I can't remember if it was December or January, but it was right there close December, January. He hadn't killed a deer all year. Didn't even have an opportunity. This is when he used to hunt over on the Sangamon River, and just didn't have an opportunity to kill a deer. So he's wanting a deer put in the freezer. So I said, come with me. I asked for permission. You're good. We're good. So I take him into this, all the way to the back of this 80. And I had put a clover plot, my very first food plot I ever put in. I put 2 acres I mowed with a batch hoe mower. Hand batch hoe mower, like 18 inches wide. I mowed that whole thing down with. Took me like half a day to do this thing. So anyway, I get this clover plot in. I've been seeing deer. I'm in a big old sycamore tree on the west side of it, and at the north end of it there was a big old oak tree that I'd put a ladder stand in, and I told Dave, I said, every night, I said, we got a north wind. I said, I know it's a north wind and it's funny, but they'll come in there, they kind of got the wind quartering at their back. I said, them does come out of that corner, they walk right by that ladder stand. I said, sit in that ladder stand, you'll get a shot at a doe. I'm almost guaranteeing it. He goes down there, and I'm getting up in my sycamore tree where I'm at, and I'm about 80, 100 yards down the creek line from him in this big old sycamore. And I see him walking across the north side of the food plot, and he goes over on the hillside, and he sits down, and I'm trying to find him in my binoculars, and I found him, and he's sitting on a log playing Indian, he thinks he's Indian again, and he's sitting on this log, kind of buried him. So he likes sitting on the ground like you. I text him, I said, what are you doing? He's like, I didn't want to sit in that stand. I didn't like it. I want to go over here and sit. I said, dude, I'm telling you, you get a shot over there. No, that's all right. He's just hard-headed like we all are sometimes. Wanted to pick his own spot, right? So he goes over there and sits. He doesn't see a doggone thing. Right before dark, here come a doe out of the corner, right next to the ladder stand, walks right out in front of me 20 yards. I thought, well, heck, I'm going to shoot this old girl. I'd had another tag in my pocket. So I shot her, and what does she do? She runs back the way she come and crashed right by that big old oak tree. So Dave texts me, he goes, I heard you shoot, and big old exclamation point like he's mad, all capital letters, deal in the text. And I said, yep, shot your doe that walked right by the stand that you were supposed to be sitting in. And he come over and we started tracking, because I didn't know if she died there or not, but she looked like she ran right by it. We get over there, and I kid you not, swear to God, this doe died at the base of that tree, and its neck and her head is laying over the bottom rung of the ladder stand with her neck propped up. Her neck is being propped up by the bottom rung of the ladder stand. She died with her head over that rung of the ladder. He looked at that and he said, I can't believe it. He says, I'm going to the truck.
Might as well at that point.
I never laughed so hard in my life. I said, I told you they'd come right by there.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Oh, man. It was funny.
It's like the more you sit and listen to somebody talk, I can listen to you talk and 2 or 3 deer stories, things you say.
Pop something up.
You can sit there and go for a long time sitting and thinking about stuff.
What's next?
What's next? I have a deer tip or not a deer tip, but a hunting tip for someone that you might use it. Jeff made fun of me the first time I did it, which is not unusual. We're pretty lightheaded about it. And it involves 2 hats. You know what I'm gonna say?
Oh yeah, the old stretchy hat.
Well, I have an old stretchy hat that I don't know. It took a long time to find it, but it's a stocking cap with a bill on it, and we'll use this as the one that goes on first, right? So you put the stocking cap with the bill on it, and that one you can go like this or move it around because it's stretchy. It's not necessarily happening. Well, you're sitting in there in the morning or in the evening, the sun gets at the wrong angle, and all of a sudden you're having a hard time seeing a certain direction because that sun's cutting through the woods like that. Well, all you have to do is move your stretchy hat a little bit to the side, wherever you want it. If the sun's over here, you put it over here, and you put your other hat on. You take 2 hats, and you put your other hat on, and you put it on the front. So you end up having double coverage. The bill goes all the way around. You can move it to this way or move it to that way. more times than not, I'm sitting in the timber. I'm sitting with 2 hats on,
Stretchy hat.
stretchy hats, and where I learned it was an old VHS rate tape. You used to go and rent tapes of people deer hunting. Not like you get them online anymore, but there was an old man in there that said if you turned your hat sideways like that and a deer looked up at you, I found it funny. If a deer looked up at you, he thinking you were looking the other direction while you were shooting him. I think he was being funny about it, but he said it serious as all get out, and it was kind of like. So I wear my stretchy hat and then another hat at the same time. You know, why not, right? I mean, I think it's a good thing.
Yeah. This deer behind us, piebald, 4 white stocking feet to his knees, pearl white dew points and hooves, and I shot that deer because of Evercom. I wish I had it on film. I talked to the actual owner of Evercom at a trade show one year, and I was telling him about my deer and what happened, and he said, "Please tell me you got that on film." I said, "No, I sure wish I did." He goes, "I'd have paid you for it." That was a cool first year I owned my farm in Missouri. Put up a stand in this inside corner in a big oak tree, and hadn't put my food plots. I hadn't plowed out all the trees and stuff to make my 2 food plots or nothing yet. And prior to this, a week prior to this, I seen this deer in my bottom. I had put up an observation stand, and I seen this deer with a doe, and I couldn't believe it. I thought, "Oh my gosh, look at that deer! He's got 4 white stocking feet to his knees." And anyway, so me and the wife went back over a week later, and it was November 3rd or 4th. I think it was the 4th. Sitting in that tree, hadn't seen a deer Saturday morning, Saturday night, Sunday morning. Sunday, when I come in Sunday morning, about 10, whatever, the wife said, "Well, you ain't seen any deer. Let's go home." I said, "I just got a good feeling." I said, "I want to hunt tonight. If it's all right, let's hunt." So it was already November, and the time had changed, so it wasn't going to be super duper late when we got home, you know. But anyway, so I go back and I hunt that stand. The wind's right for it. I go in there, and I got a doe comes in, and she comes in with a fawn, and I got my boss buck decoy out, and she walks into that corner, and does hate decoys. If you got a decoy out and a doe comes in, 9 times out of 10, probably 99 times out of 100, they snort, they stomp their foot, they don't like it.
Screw something
up.
They
screw something up, right? So I had Evercom all over this decoy. She goes up and she smells the nose of this buck decoy, walks around, smells the rear end of this decoy, never stomped, never snorted, nothing. Calm as can be, walks over and starts eating hedge leaves off this hedge tree that's still got some green leaves on it. And her fawn's milling around. She actually smelled the bottom step of my sticks because I put Evercom on my boots. I always put it on the toes of my boots, so when you walk in, you're leaving a scent trail.
That's a good idea.
And she smelled the bottom step of my stick. She smelled the deer decoy. She walked over and she's eating leaves. A 6-pointer came in like 15 minutes later. She's there forever, it seemed like. 15 minutes, a long time, right, when you're deer hunting. 6-pointer come in, he postured the buck, but he wouldn't challenge him or nothing. Then he shows up. I didn't shoot this deer because he had a big rack by any means. He's right at 129, 130. But I shot him because of his hooves and his legs and everything. And he come in, he run off the 6-pointer. The doe's still there with her fawn, and he comes in and turns just absolutely perfect, come in to challenge my boss buck decoy, and I shot him at 23 yards. And all because of Evercom. Because I really believe had that doe come in and snorted and carried on and stuff, I probably wouldn't have seen nothing else. Doesn't mean I wouldn't, but I don't think I would have. So
yeah, a good reaction, you know. So, you're right about the decoys. The decoys can kill you or make your day. And most of the time, I'm not sure it's a positive thing.
What's on your arm, dude? What'd you do?
Oh, got a new tattoo.
We the people.
We the people. It's kind of.
What's it say underneath that?
Shall not be infringed.
Absolutely.
It's kind of peeling a little bit. It's a new thing for me. It's only about a week old, probably something like that.
In the communist state of Illinois. So
yeah, I felt like I had to. I felt like I had to do something to affirm my patriotism.
There you go.
Things, you watch the news too much and you get a little down, and I thought maybe set an example for other 62-year-olds my age.
Well, we got any stories from public ground or anything?
Public ground? Oh, all kinds of stories from public ground.
What's that one with you and your buddy Rick used to hunt with? What happened on that one?
Oh, well, that was we shot the same deer twice.
Yeah.
We're hunting. That wasn't public ground. That
That wasn't. Oh, that's right. That wasn't. Yeah,
That
that's
was
right.
private ground next to a right of way.
right.
Nice buck come down, probably 135, 140-ish, and you either shoot those deer or, I mean, it's just a 100-yard wide strip that runs about
It's a
400
pass-through
yards.
spot,
Yeah, another pass-through place like I had before, and that he come walking straight to me. Walked right underneath me, and I shot him straight down, almost straight down, right between the shoulder blades, and he took off, and my buddy was only about 50 yards away, if that, sitting in a tree, and I could see him, and that deer ran for like maybe 10 yards and stopped and then started walking real slow, which is, kind of a good sign. I didn't miss him. And whether I hit a vital or not, that's a tough angle, but I thought it was in the right spot. And that deer walked over to him and got over there next to him and looked up at him, and I could actually see the deer's head tip back looking at him. And Rick shot him the second time, and I asked that all this goes by, he piles up, he's had 2 arrows go through him. He piles up over next to the railroad tracks, and I went over and talked to Rick. I said, what are you doing shooting him again? He says, well, he said, well, he walked underneath you, and I didn't know if you hit him. I said, he's leaking oil all the way from my stand all the way to your stand.
Is that ton W30 or what?
Yeah, it was some kind of, he didn't go very far a second, and then he starts saying, I thought it was going to be end of a relationship. He goes, how about the one who's closest to the heart gets the,
Gets to mount it.
Gets to mount it. I think I told him, I said he was blind by the time because he was lightheaded. No wonder he stood there in front.
He was 2 quarts low.
Probably 3 quarts low by that point. But yeah, that was a pretty cool deal. We ended up taking pictures in his front yard. Maybe sometime share that picture. He's got a hold of one side of the rack, and he's got his fish drawn back, and I got the rack on the other side, like we're fighting for the same deer. So it was a cool picture, and another deer memory that
Oh yeah.
I don't know how many times I told that. I'm pretty sure my wife's heard it 1,000 times or more. But
Well, that's what deer stories are for, to be repeated.
oh, I thought you were going to say and annoy your wife.
That too. Well, hey, at Huah Outdoors, man, don't forget Real World Wildlife Products, Deadly Dozen, Plot Topper, Clover Chicory, Mike's Mighty Micros. We're going to be at the Deer and Beer Fest. I said the wrong dates last time. It's in 2 weeks. It's August 22nd, 23rd. Look that up, Jay, on your phone.
Just throw a whole bunch of.
I got the wrong date.
I do have it on my phone.
You got your calendar. Anyway, it's coming up at Bloomington, Illinois. We're going to be outside under the pavilion, and if the weather holds what they've got predicted, low 80s, 81, 82. So it's not going to be dreadful. So that's going to be fantastic.
22nd, 23rd.
22nd, 23rd, yeah.
And 24th.
Yeah. So come see us if you're in the central Illinois or Illinois area. Come check us out. Two semi old timers.
Yeah, tell us your deer stories.
Absolutely, we love hearing deer stories. I can sit and talk deer story all day.
You tell us a good enough deer story, maybe we'll use it.
Well, yeah, there you go. Hey, that ought to be a contest. The best deer story gets a bag of Deadly Dozen or something.
I can come up with that. Does that include
No,
tonight?
I mean not you, not me and you, silly. Somebody that comments on on this video or something, come up with the craziest deer story. That might get them a bag of Deadly Dozen or
There's
something.
bags on the rack all the way around here. A guy could just leave with one if he wanted to.
Hey. I know a couple cops working down here. You better watch that stuff. So, anyway, you got any more quick ones?
No, I'm done.
I don't believe that.
I do have a lot more, but I'm done. I try not to offend Everybody
Protect
right
the
now.
innocent.
Yeah.
Names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Yeah. I liked your hat, your keister hat. We got the idea to do that. I was thinking about getting a couple for mine. If it was
My conquistador.
Illinois, if it was Illinois, someplace in Illinois you have an antler limit, and if I was thinking maybe I'd take and cut the end off of one of these and stick it on there, and I could have like a 2-pointer. Then I'd be legal in October. Not in Illinois, some places though.
Well, it's a buck conquistador.
Yeah, something.
$10 at a sale up at
Yeah, Covered Bridge Festival, isn't it?
Spoon River, I think. Spoon River up in Northwest Illinois. So
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, we're gonna get off here. Check us out. Huah Outdoors got a new video up, I believe. Here it may already be up from our editor, Buddy Lee, up of the farm. Got some drone footage of the farm. So check it out. Have a good week. Be safe out there. I got my clover mowed and sprayed on one plot for killing off a spot for my grandsons on their plot. One other spot I didn't end up spraying. I just mowed it and scalped it down. It'll be fine. And Deadly Dozen going in next week on both of those, I believe, if the way the weather's looking. So, and then the following week at my farm in Missouri, I'm going to wait a little bit for over there. So if the weather predictions hold right, the first week of September, there's several chances of rain. So my birthday, August 30th, is we're going to go over to the farm and put some food plots in over at the farm. So
every podcast they have like a saying that they say before when they sign out. Some of them they take their thumb and they put on the screen. That kind of fades them out. I think we need to have a saying if they could.
We'll come up with something.
Well, somebody maybe comment or something.
Oh, there
and tell
you
us
go. Have a little
good saying.
contest.
I do have one for the old timers who I used to shoot Razorback 5s. I don't know if you know what those are. It was a fixed blade broadhead basically. And Razorback 5s was the deal. Well, I think you got a sticker with every one of those. It said on that you put on your bow case or whatever. It said, "Stay calm, pick a spot." And to this day, probably 90% of the 40-some years I've deer hunted, I'll say that to myself sitting in a tree. Stay calm, pick a spot. So
you do good with that when you're picking spots on the fawn to shoot.
at least
I should.
I haven't shot a fawn in a long time.
I have never shot a fawn. Well, no, I take that back.
Yeah, I can remember
No, I take
stories.
that
He's
back.
not being honest.
No, that's
with you
true.
right
That's
now.
true. I've shot a buttonhead, a yearling buttonhead. I have done that. Yeah. Not one with spots though. So.
I've shot one that had a little bit of spots on it. They used to make you shoot a doe before.
Well,
you
right
could shoot
over
a buck.
here at our county parks, you got to shoot a doe before you shoot a buck.
Yeah.
There's guys I know. They tote them out over their shoulder. They don't care.
Yeah.
They got to get to that so they can shoot a buck.
All right.
So that's what you call veal innocent,
Whatever.
veal.
Hey,
So
if
right.
somebody comes up with a better, stay calm, pick a spot.
there you go. Huah Outdoors.
Shut that thing off.
Shut it off. It's probably still recording. I don't even know if it recorded any of that.